Hey guys, Scott here, and in this lesson I'm going to tell you 13 essential things that you need to know before your next audition. Let's check it out. Okay, so we all go to auditions, right? Or if you haven't been to an audition, you're going to. It's one of those, it's a painful thing in a way because you're stepping into the unknown and, nerves can get the better of you. A whole load of things can happen. So I thought I'd put this video together just to give you a heads up of, what I think the essential things are that you need to really take care of when you're preparing for an audition and at the audition. I have been to too many auditions, in my life. I've been to, zillions. And if I think way back when I started, I had some horrible ones because I'd never done it before. And through, doing them over and over and over again, pretty well versed at it now. So I just thought I'd tell you some stuff that might help you out. Now I've split this tutorial into two parts. The first part will be what you should do before the audition. And the second part, number 2, is what you should do at the audition. So let's get on with it. Okay, so number 1 is preparation. And something you should do when you're preparing for an audition, if you've been given some pieces to learn, is write the charts out. Write the charts out, guys. Writing charts out, and I don't mean the notation. You can use cheat sheets, where you're writing 4 bars of C major, 4 bars of F minor, whatever it is, but write them out. Even if you can't use the charts on the audition, it's something about the process of writing it out and listening to it and playing it. It just really solidifies learning the song. So I really recommend writing out the song, writing out the structure of the song so you can see it visually, and you'll just be able to learn it a lot better instead of just kind of, fast forward, like, C major, then rewind, and then C, and just trying to do it like that. So write some charts out and it'll really help you out in the long run. Number 2 is be super aware of intros and outros. This is super important, right? Because when you start that song, everybody's hyper aware of what's going on. This is the start of the song, boom, we're in. You need to be nailing that intro. You need to nail the outro as well. So, and the outros are where I see a lot of bass players falling down. They've focused so much on that first part of the song and forgotten about how the song ends. So really focus on the intro and the outro, and then obviously you want to nail that beginning bit as well, but really make sure you get those intros and the outros bang on. It'll do you the world of good. Number 3 is listen to the music that you're going to audition with constantly. If you've been given a song to learn or songs, have them on in the car, have them on the MP3 player on your phone. Listen to them all the time. Learn those songs inside out. Try and learn the lyrics to the songs. Learning lyrics to the songs, the words, is a really great way to memorize songs. Singers, if there's any singers watching this, you'll know very well that singers always know the songs better than anybody else, because we've been listening to stories our entire life. Words are connected together and they learn it in that way, whereas we learn patterns on a fingerboard. So if you can learn the lyrics as well, it's fantastic. But yeah, make sure you do that. It's, it'll make a massive difference. Number 4 is practice with the recording. I know that sounds silly, but I've been in auditions where there's been, a few bass players auditioning, and I'm always surprised at how some of them have got the feel of the song wrong. They've written it down the chart and they've thought they had, a good idea of what went on. So they've obviously been practicing it without listening to the CD. CD, MP3, listen to the, play along with the actual track when you're rehearsing it. It's, not rehearsing it, when you're practicing it. It'll really help pay off and you'll really be able to get the feel of the song down. Number 5 is, it's a bit of a weird one. It's a wild card, number 5. Number 5 is make a stand and be brave and stand up for yourself. When you're auditioning, now it depends on what the audition is. Now I should say that, auditions, a lot of auditions are different. If you're auditioning for instance, to work on a cruise ship, it's going to be very different. It's going to be a very professional environment. But if you're auditioning for a band that's going to be doing a lot of corporate events or weddings or that type of thing, that are still working professionally, you know, the band leaders can sometimes expect a lot for nothing. Okay, so as in, they will say, you know, I want you to learn 20 songs for the rehearsal, and I don't want you to use any charts, that kind of thing. Okay, so it's an impossible ask. They're asking for something that's impossible, and it's their own inexperience that's making them ask that. And you need to understand that they're not being hard a lot of the time. They're just being inexperienced. So if they do ask for a zillion songs for the rehearsal or the audition, and they ask for you not to use charts, really try and be brave and say, you know, that's probably not the best idea. Well, if you want a really good vibe for what I do as a bass player, it's probably best if we pick, you know, 3 or 4 songs, and you hear me playing on them, and if that works out, and then I'll learn the rest. Okay, so don't go learning 20 songs if it's just for an audition. Don't do that. Try and be brave and steer them in the right direction, because again, it's probably because of their inexperience that they're asking you to do that. Also, with a lot of people in auditions, especially if it's the corporate band scene, might ask you to do it without charts. Now that's okay for them to do that, because some people don't want you to use charts on the gigs, you know. But again, just be aware that don't try and memorize 10 songs or 20 songs. Keep it small. Try and steer them in the direction of, you know, well, let's do 2 or 3 songs if you want me to do it without charts. And then if I get the gig, then you're going to concentrate and learn a zillion songs with no charts. But what I'm saying is, you know, just try and take control of the situation, because a lot of my friends in the past and students of mine have come to me and said, you know, I'm auditioning for this band. They've asked me to do, you know, 10 songs, 20 songs. I'm not allowed to use charts. And I always say, you know, you need to be upfront about it, and you know, kind of put your stall out and just say, you know what, that's a little bit, you know, it's pushing a little bit too far. You have to, you know, work out the best way for you to say it. There's good ways to say it. You don't have to say no. You just have to, you know, negotiate a little bit with them. So that was number 5. Okay, so from number 6 to 13, I'm going to concentrate on stuff that you should be doing at the audition, okay? So things that will help you at the audition. Number 6 is drop any ego at the door, okay? Drop any ego you have at the door. When you walk into an audition, you need to be super humble, you need to be a super cool guy, and just like the easiest guy in the world to get on with. I've seen auditions that have gone terribly wrong simply because somebody's gone in there with an ego. You know, I'm the man, I'm the dude, I can play this, that and the other. And it's really not done them any favours. And another guy's got it who maybe wasn't as good a player, but was just a nicer guy. So drop the ego at the door. Number 7 is a really, really good one, okay? So don't miss this one out, whatever you do, okay? Take your notes, everything, all your notes that you've made on the tunes that you'll be auditioning with you to the audition. When I'm auditioning, I always take a laptop. I always take my headphones. I've got everything ready. It's not lost on my laptop somewhere. It's on the desktop, so I can, if there's any questions I have that I need to reference and say, oh, say for instance the keys player is playing, he's like, I'm not sure that's quite right. You've learnt it properly from what you've been sent. You can say, oh, can we take a listen to it? I think I've learned it right. You know, they can listen to it. Oh yeah, you have learned it right. Oh well, we don't do it like that anymore. You know, but take that reference material with you to the audition. And as secondary, when you turn up and you're fully prepared at the audition, they will love you for it. If you turn up with a laptop and you've got the MP3s, you've got your headphones out ready, if you need to reference any material, they will see that you're really serious about it. And that will, you know, it'll give you a ton of brownie points. Trust me. Take your reference material with you. Number 8 is total common sense, but a lot of people don't do it. Be early to the audition. Not on time, be early. I always, you know, try and get there half an hour to 15 minutes early, just in case anything goes wrong. And I want them to know that I'm the on-time guy. I don't want to be the, you know, the audition's at 8, so I'm there at 8. I want to be the guy that's there, early. And for me, it makes me feel better because I feel more at one with the environment. I want to know how it feels to be there early. Not how it feels to be there early, but I want to know how it feels in the room and just get a vibe for the place, really. So give yourself a little bit of breathing space and get there 15 to 30 minutes early. Number 9, don't be afraid of asking questions. Okay, I see this all the time where people are making mistakes and they're not asking why. The same mistake happens every time around the tune. If you are making a mistake or you've got any question, just ask them. Just ask them. Trust me, they will not look down on you in any way at all if you just ask the question. In fact, I can remember when I first started gigging around Leeds where I live, back in my early 20s and as a pro player. And one thing I really learned fast is that people love you if you ask questions. If you get to the end of a tune and it's a little bit scrappy, so many people will just let that slide. Well, if you find that you've done something a little bit scrappy at the end and you go up to the musical director and say, hey, I messed that up at the end. Is there any way we can just look at that so I'm a bit more solid on it next time? That musical director, what's he going to think? Is he going to think, oh, he doesn't care about the gig? No, he's going to think, this guy really cares. He's going to really like you for asking. So if you've got any questions at all when you get to the audition about the tunes, just ask. Number 10 is don't tell anybody how bad you are. Don't be apologetic. I've seen it a lot. People walk into an audition and they're apologizing before they've even played a note. Okay? Oh, I'm not quite sure. You're prepared. Remember, you're prepared for it. You're going to go in and do the best you can do. Okay? You're gonna do the best you can do. So don't apologize for being bad or lack of preparation, because if you listen to all the other points that I've said before this, you should be prepared on the gig. And when you're at the audition, apologizing for lack of preparation it's kind of, black mark against your name. Okay, so he hasn't prepared. So just don't turn up with lack of preparation. Don't use it as an excuse, and don't apologize for being bad. Okay, don't, before you play. Just, don't do it. Number 11, don't stop if you make a mistake. If you're auditioning and you make a mistake, just carry on and then reference it at the end. Tell people at the end if they didn't hear it. Like, obviously they might have heard it. At the end, say, hey, I messed up this bit. Can we go over that again? Okay, don't stop. The worst thing you can do is stop. Okay, if you mess up and then carry on, maybe you were 70% wrong, 80% wrong. If you mess up and stop, you're 100% wrong. You're not playing. You are wrong. So don't stop playing. Try and recover. Carry on through the song. And then when you get to the end, say, what, can we run that bit again because I messed up a little bit? Number 12 is make sure you have a clear line of visual communication between the band where you are. When you're auditioning, you want to have a really clear view of the drummer and a real clear view of the musical director. Because you're going to be looking at them for cues. If you're playing in an experienced band, even though you've prepared for the gig, you've turned up, you've written your charts, the whole shebang, they're still going to take care of you. Okay, the drummer will still be there, and he'll cue the chorus. He'll give you the wink, the nod as he goes into the choruses, and as likewise the musical director, if there is a musical director. But really make sure that you've got a clear line of vision with everybody, and be aware that you should be looking at people. Yes, look at your charts, but even the peripheral vision that you have here, make sure that you're looking for cues that people will give you, visual cues, because they will look after you if they're experienced. If they're not experienced, hopefully they'll learn as they go along that they should be looking after people that are auditioning. Number 13 ties into 12. It is try to find out who's the best communicator in the band. Okay, try to find out who's the best communicator in the band. For me, a lot of the time it's drummers. So when I'm auditioning for a piece, I'm looking for cues from the drummer or the musical director, if there's a musical director. But sometimes it's not the drummer. Sometimes it's a guitar player or the keys player who has that kind of vibe. He maybe hasn't got the title of the musical director, but he's doing what a musical director would. As it comes to the choruses, he's giving you the up, he's giving you the look up and the nod. or he's cueing different sections of the song. So try and find out who that guy or girl is when you get to the, when you, in that first song really, as soon as you start playing that first song, try and find out who it is, because it'll really, really give you a head start if you know who's going to be giving you the heads up that something's coming. And last of all, just to end this off, I just want to say, with auditions, you kind of need to have thick skin as well, to a certain extent. You need to have that because, trust me, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to feel embarrassed. You're going to feel sometimes like you want the floor to open up and swallow you up. That's just the name of the game, okay? If you want to really push your bass playing to the next level, you have to make all these mistakes or you're never going to get to the, that end, this sort of like visualization of perception that some people perceive that it's going to be this clear journey. It's wrong. I've messed up a ton of times. I could tell you some really, really funny stories about auditions that I've had in the past and auditions that my friends have had that are some of the best players in the world now. And they've just had some crazy auditions. So, get some thick skin and don't let it get you down if you do have a bad audition or something like that. Just get up and think, right, well, I've learned from that. Now it's time for the next one. I won't make that mistake again. Okay, so for your homework this week, I've got 2 questions. Okay, the first question is, what helps you personally prepare for an audition? I'd really, really love to know. I'm talking about this stuff with students all the time, so I'd love to know if you've got any tips or tricks. Leave them in the comments below. And number 2 is, are you nervous of auditioning? Have you been to an audition or are you thinking about going to an audition? And if you are, what's the number one thing, the number one big fear that you have? Again, I really want to know this because I'm working with students all the time and it really helps me to see what people are struggling with. So again, question 1, what helps you prepare for auditions personally yourselves? And if you haven't done an audition yet, what's the number one fear, the biggest fear you have about your first audition? Okay, take it easy guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next time in the shed. The 2015 Kickstarter challenge.
Hey everybody.
Hey guys.
Hi everybody.
Hello all. Hello.